university had a dairy science department that was training students to work in the dairy industry, over 130 years ago.
Howell Jr. is the executive director of UNL's Food Processing Center.
A little over 100 years ago, the university started selling dairy products in various forms and using the university's training ground as a way to then provide those products. So in 1917, when the dairy store opened, you could bring your own cup and for a nickel, drink as much milk as you could swallow.
Terry says the dairy store continued to grow and prosper over the decades.
In the 1940s, the University of Nebraska developed its own varieties of cheese. And so the varieties of cheese that we sell today are still based off of those same formulas that are now 80 years old. The university dairy has been producing ice cream for many decades as well.
The connection between the University of Nebraska Foundation and UNL's dairy store dates way back to 1937. In fact, the foundation's first stock gift ever came from Edward J. Cornish, who donated 600 shares of National Lead Company common stock to UNL's Dairy Husbandry Department. Today, more than 8 decades later, 1 or 2 students every year receive the Cornish Scholarship.
Yeah, I'm like a mini of the tractor test or the Milk of Madness. That's a big mini.
This is where the delicious dairy store ice cream is made, in this historic renovated State Fair Park building on UNL's Innovation Campus. Student workers like Elisa Holst receive valuable training here.
I tell people that I work at the dairy plant making ice cream all day, every day, and people are jealous of me, because it's a fun job.
I love working with the students. So, ice cream is fun. Everyone's always happy when you're making ice cream.
Josie Houston is the dairy plant manager and the person in charge of making dairy store ice cream taste so scrumptious.
So these are the mix tanks that we're using. We put the prepared mix into these tanks, and then any colors or flavors or liquid ingredients that we add are added here at the tank. Cocoa, fruit purees, things like that. Anything that can go through the machine.
Josie has the ice cream making process down to a science.
We have 2 different ice cream freezers. The one that we used today was the continuous freezer. And we have 2 50-gallon tanks that will feed the ice cream freezer. And then it goes into the freezer. It freezes the ice cream. It comes out, and after the ice cream's frozen, we mix in the inclusions. So any of the solid pieces, the cookie dough or the chocolate chips or anything like that. And then it goes to the package. So today we were using a filler, an automatic filler. And there's a lot that goes into that as well, the speed control and the fill level.
On this particular day, Josie and her students were busy co-packing ice cream for an Omaha business called E-Creamery.
If we're not making pints and we're filling for the dairy store, we fill in 3-gallon containers and we just hold the bucket. So the students would then they would just fill the bucket as the ice cream came out and put the lids on, and then all the ice cream goes directly into the blast freezer, which is a little loud. But it'll freeze the ice cream pretty instantly to get the real small ice crystals, and it'll store in there really nicely as well.
This kind of hands-on experience gives these food science students a leg up on their competition after graduation.
These students get hired very quickly. They've got a lot of experience. They go to an internship and they're the first choice of students because they have so much experience and confidence.
I was definitely really excited when I came here to work at the dairy store because everyone just talks about, oh, the dairy store, and now I get to be a part of that, so that's really exciting for me.
Chloe Calhoun is a student worker who received a scholarship that was made possible through private funds.
Yeah, that was a really big deal. It put less pressure on worrying about where the money was coming from, and I was able to more focus on just activities that would build resumes and my grades, and so it was just a big help coming here and getting that scholarship.
Now we head to East Campus, where dairy store items are sold to the public. In the fall of 2019, the store itself was moved from the south side of the food industry complex to a renovated area in the north end of the same building. Terry says continuing the great UNL dairy store tradition is very satisfying.
It certainly gives you a lot of pride in trying to continue that tradition. We take our mission to educate students very seriously and to make sure that we can contribute to the dairy industry of the future. In the dairy plant where we're producing ice cream and cheese, we try to make sure that those students get exposed to the most up-to-date, the most innovative processing techniques, and so that when they enter the workforce, they are as prepared or more prepared than any of their peers across the country. So we certainly take that seriously.
I really like our style of management.
Tyler Baum is a student worker who really enjoys his job at the dairy store.
The environment is great and my coworkers are awesome.
I worked here for, I think, about a year and a half.
Sydney Gunderson says interacting with the customers was the best part of her student worker experience at the dairy store.
Especially when people would come in and say that they used to come here back when they were in college and now they're, 60, 70, 80 years old. And it's that legacy of the dairy store that was always so special, that people remembered it from, 100 years ago, and they still get to come and they get to bring their families. And so it was just a great experience for that reason.
I got a job here because my older sister worked here for about 4 years, and I saw how happy she was every day when she came home from work, so I was like, that's where I want to work.
Leyna Sand is a high school senior who is having just as much fun working at the dairy store as her sister did.
Oh yeah, it's all I thought it was and more. This is the best job I've ever had. I love this job. It is amazing. Every day coming to work and seeing my coworkers and getting to serve ice cream to all our customers is just an amazing experience.
From the Black Shirt Special to the Hoiberg, the dairy store offers more than 50 flavors of ice cream.
My favorite, though, is going to be anything with our coffee. So we have a Mocha Madness as my current #1 flavor.
Terry says the signature flavor at the dairy store is appropriately named Scarlet and Cream.
That's the one that kind of represents the University of Nebraska, and it's our biggest seller.
My favorite flavor is lemon custard, but if you ever have the chance to try the raspberry chocolate chip, try that one too.
My favorite flavor is 4-H clover mint.
I think we're the only ice cream place that serves sweet corn ice cream.
My favorite flavor would have to be the sea salt caramel, just a classic flavor.
No matter which flavor you choose, chances are good you'll taste the tradition in every bite.
I mean, this store is a landmark for many alumni. It's a landmark for current students, and we hope for generations to come.